Have you ever felt tired of saying yes, even when your heart whispered no? Tired of being the one everyone depends on while no one ever asks how you are doing? He felt that way every day. His worth seemed tied to how much he gave, how much he agreed, how little space he took for himself. If he rested, guilt followed. If he refused, fear rose inside him. He wondered if love would disappear the moment he finally chose himself. Many people live like this, exhausted, smiling on the outside while breaking on the inside. They believe being good means always being available, and that being kind means being empty. But something happened on the day he finally said no, something life-changing. This story is for you, so listen. He was known as the reliable one. Friends called him whenever they needed help. His family trusted him with every single problem. At work, people praised his calm nature and his quiet strength. He rarely complained. He rarely refused. To others, he looked steady, kind, and uncheckable. But inside, he felt small. He felt like a room with no door, always open, always entered. He carried tired thoughts he never shared with anyone. He wondered if people valued him or only his yes. When he was alone, the silence felt heavy, not peaceful. He'd look in the mirror and see someone useful, but not someone important. He didn't hate his life. He just felt completely invisible in it. Each day he gave more and more of himself, hoping that one day someone would finally notice the quiet heart beating inside. He woke each morning already tired before the day had even begun. Messages waited on his phone. Favors waited in his schedule. Someone always needed his time, his money, his effort, his listening ear. He said yes before he even thought about it. It was automatic. At work, he stayed late while everyone else left. At home, he solved problems that were never his to begin with. When friends called, he answered, even when his chest felt tight with anxiety. He skipped meals, he delayed rest, and he ignored his own thoughts, pushing them further and further down. Each yes felt small on its own, but together they became a crushing weight. His body began to slow down. His smile started to fade. At night, he would lie awake replaying conversations, wondering if he had done enough for everyone. He promised himself, tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow I will rest. Tomorrow I will speak up. But morning always came, and the habit returned. Saying no felt dangerous. Saying yes felt familiar. So he kept choosing others, slowly leaving himself behind, one quiet decision at a time. He believed this was love, not realizing he was paying for it with his peace, his voice, his strength, and the parts of himself that needed care the most. He never said this out loud, but deep inside he believed that love had rules. If he was helpful, he would be accepted. If he was quiet, he would be safe. If he said no, he feared being replaced. This belief grew slowly over time, like a shadow stretching across his heart. It told him his value depended on his usefulness, not just his presence. When someone sounded disappointed in him, shame would fill his entire being. When he imagined the silence that might follow a refusal, fear took over. He thought rest was selfish. He thought boundaries were rude. He thought that being chosen by others meant being available at all times, no matter the cost. So he hid his needs carefully. He smiled instead of speaking his truth. He agreed instead of asking for what he wanted. He believed that losing himself was the price of keeping others close, and that without constant giving, he might become unlovable, forgettable, and completely alone in a world that already felt unsafe. He was already exhausted when the request came. It was late, and his body ached in ways he couldn't explain. The message on his phone was simple, familiar, and heavy. "Can you help me one more time?" His fingers hovered above the screen. His chest tightened. And then something inside him finally resisted. His head said yes, but his body felt like a closed door. His breath became shallow. His hands started to shake. He imagined another night without rest, another promise broken to himself. The room felt smaller. The air felt thick. For the first time, his silence wasn't patience. It was a warning. His heart beat fast, like it was running from something unseen. He realized this wasn't just about a favor. This was his health, his peace, his very life asking to be protected. If he said yes again, something inside him would break, quietly and completely. He stood perfectly still, feeling years of giving collapse into one fragile, trembling moment of truth. He stepped outside to breathe, unsure why tears were filling his eyes. That was when the old man spoke, not loudly, not suddenly. His voice was just present. He was sitting nearby, watching the evening light rest on the closed shops and quiet doors of the street. "You look tired," he said gently. The words felt different. They weren't demanding, they weren't judging. He felt seen, something softened inside him. No one had ever named his exhaustion before. The man just listened without interrupting as he spoke, slowly and carefully, about the weight he was carrying. There was no advice yet, only space, only calm. The mentor didn't rush to fix him. He simply stayed, steady as the ground beneath his feet. In that quiet moment, he felt something new. He wasn't a problem to solve. He was a person worth noticing, even when he had nothing left to give. The old man pointed to the row of doors on the buildings across the street, some open, some closed. "Imagine your life as a house," he said softly. "Every door you keep open invites something inside." He explained that some doors bring light, rest, and safety. Others quietly take all the warmth away. "When you never say no," he continued, "you leave every door open, even the ones that drain you." The words settled slowly. He pictured himself standing in a cold, empty room, with wind entering from every side. The mentor smiled gently. "A no is not a wall," he said. "It is a door closing." He paused for a moment. "No one blames you for closing a door that is stealing your peace." For the very first time, saying no didn't feel like rejection. It felt like choosing which rooms in his house deserved his presence, his energy, his life. And with that thought, something warm returned to his chest, slow, steady, and safe. He stood there quietly, letting the words settle inside him. He realized how many doors he had kept open out of fear, not out of love. Each one of those open doors had taken a little more of his strength day by day. He saw now that protecting himself didn't mean hurting others. It meant finally listening to his own needs. His chest felt lighter as a new thought formed in his mind. Maybe rest was allowed. Maybe his needs mattered too. He didn't feel brave yet, but he felt clear. The guilt that once shouted at him now just whispered. And in its place was a calm permission he had never, ever given himself before. He could choose which doors stayed open. He could choose himself without disappearing. That single realization didn't change everything in his life, but it changed him. He looked at his phone again, breathing slowly this time. The message was still there, waiting. He typed a reply, short and honest. "I can't help tonight." His hand didn't shake. The world didn't end. No angry response came. Instead, a quiet peace entered him. His shoulders relaxed. His body finally rested. For the first time, saying no didn't take life from him. It gave something back. He felt whole. A soft strength settled in, steady, gentle, and lasting. Sometimes saying no is not selfish. It is self-respect. You are not here on this earth to earn love through exhaustion. Your worth is not measured by how much you give away. Boundaries do not make you cold. They make you whole. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to choose yourself, even when others don't fully understand. If this story touched something quiet inside you, let it stay with you for a while. You are not alone in learning this. Share it gently with someone who needs permission to rest. May peace meet you right where you are today and always. Thank you for listening.